The British monarchy, steeped in centuries of tradition, duty, and unyielding protocol, now confronts one of its most profound internal crises in modern times. I find myself acutely conscious of the immense legacy entrusted to me and the profound obligations that accompany sovereignty. Yet recent events have shaken the very foundations of the House of Windsor, forcing a reckoning with betrayal at the closest quarters. In a move that has reverberated across the United Kingdom and beyond, Buckingham Palace released an extraordinary announcement. Queen Camilla has been relieved of her designation as Queen Consort. Henceforth, she will be addressed solely as Princess Consort, a demotion almost without precedent in contemporary royal annals. This stark disciplinary action arises directly from a grave scandal centered on the vanishing of an irreplaceable artifact, the historic Welsh gold ring, forged from precious metal extracted from the ancient Klondike St. David mine. This heirloom has long embodied the unbroken chain of royal succession and the sacred legitimacy of the crown itself. Its disappearance represents far more than the loss of a valuable object. It strikes at the symbolic heart of the monarchy. The drama unfolded on a fateful evening at Balmoral Castle, the royal family's cherished Scottish retreat. What should have been a haven of tranquility transformed into a scene of profound disquiet. King Charles, advancing in years yet burdened by the weight of a 1,000-year dynasty, discovered the ring absent from its fortified private safe. The enclosure, expertly hidden behind a panel of aged oak in his secluded study, bore no evidence of violent intrusion. No shattered locks, no splintered wood, no footprints in the dust. The king's immediate response was decisive. He summoned the palace's foremost security specialists, imposed a total lockdown on the sprawling estate, and initiated a meticulous inquiry. As investigators delved deeper, an uncomfortable pattern emerged. Suspicion converged inexorably toward the one individual least expected and most painful to contemplate, Camilla herself. The atmosphere within the castle thickened with unspoken accusations and guarded glances. Amid this mounting storm, Camilla chose an astonishing moment to grant a live television interview. On camera, she appeared unruffled, even dismissive, casually minimizing the importance of the missing ring, the crown jewels, and other hallowed emblems of royalty. Her words carried an edge of defiance, as though challenging the very reverence that has sustained the institution for generations. Observers wondered, was this a calculated bid to undermine the symbols of legitimate succession? Or did it signal the prelude to a more insidious struggle for dominance? King Charles now confronts an agonizing dilemma. The person he once elevated, against considerable public resistance, to share his throne may represent the gravest peril to the monarchy's stability. To demand full accountability risks exposing fractures that could weaken the Windsor line irreparably. To ignore the evidence invites the slow erosion of authority from within the palace walls themselves. Balmoral, usually a place of restorative peace amid the rugged highlands, felt oppressively different on that February afternoon. A pervasive sense of foreboding enveloped the grounds following the abrupt security lockdown. Even veteran retainers, accustomed to decades of service, experienced an unfamiliar shiver of apprehension. At the center of this turmoil stood King Charles, a sovereign in the later chapters of life, carrying the accumulated responsibilities of his ancestors. Since succeeding his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, in 2022, he had devoted himself to safeguarding continuity and public confidence. Internally, however, doubts about legitimacy and the burdens of his personal history lingered. Camilla had long served as his emotional mainstay, the partner he championed despite earlier controversy. In this most intimate sanctuary, that foundation began to crack. The catalyst was the Welsh gold ring's absence. Far beyond mere adornment, it functioned as a physical token of dynastic continuity. Charles approached the concealed safe with measured steps. His aged hands, spotted with time, hesitated before revealing the empty, velvet-lined case. The soft lamplight illuminated his stunned expression, etching deeper furrows of disbelief. A wave of cold betrayal, not from the Highland chill, but from something far more intimate, swept over him. Only the night before, They had shared quiet companionship by the hearth, her touch a source of solace amid state pressures. Now that memory mocked his trust. Charles rarely succumbed to alarm, yet the vacant space where the ring should have rested made the throne itself seem unstable. He issued orders for a discreet but thorough probe. Elite teams swept the castle under pretexts of maintenance. Their findings offered no comfort, zero indications of outside penetration, no anomalies in entry points. The theft appeared executed with insider precision, someone familiar with routines, schedules, and access codes. Doubt crept in like fog rolling off the moors. Charles paced his study, the rhythmic click of his shoes the only sound breaking the heavy quiet. Flashes of unease surfaced, an attendant's fleeting look, an ajar door at an odd hour, Camilla's unusually composed manner lately. Resentment built, not a fiery outburst, but a deep, burning indignation at the violation of his innermost sanctum. Who possessed the nerve to claim such a dynastic emblem? Who could navigate security undetected? The logical yet excruciating conclusion pointed inward. At a glittering London charity event, under relentless camera flashes, Camilla projected impeccable poise. While Balmoral remained sealed amid interrogations, she mingled effortlessly, her demeanor a masterpiece of control refined through years of scrutiny. Her gown flowed gracefully, her smile calibrated perfectly. Yet attention fixed not on her elegance but on her wrist, where a striking new bracelet gleamed. At its heart sat a large emerald, its intense green hue evoking the very stone once embedded in the king's lost ring. To those versed in royal jewels, the similarity was unmistakable and unsettling. Camilla seemed to relish the subtle stir she provoked. Rather than conceal the piece, she accentuated it with deliberate gestures, a light caress of the stones, a strategic pause before lenses. To her, it transcended ornament. It represented assertion, a quiet claim to influence. Far from remorse, she appeared energized by the capacity to unsettle the established order. Within Buckingham Palace, divisions sharpened among advisors. Factions clashed in private. Some defended Camilla, attributing coincidences to crisis management. Others, devoted to Charles, sensed treachery in the timing. Corridors once marked by deference now hummed with wariness. One night, a key member of Camilla's staff vanished quietly from quarters, suitcase in hand, exiting through a side gate into London's shadows without announcement. The departure amplified the voids of uncertainty. Charles, alone with newspapers displaying Camilla's image and that damning emerald, felt illusion shatter. The monarchy stands at a precipice. The king's awareness of his inheritance now includes safeguarding it from threats nearest the throne. The path forward demands resolve, lest the ancient institution fracture under the strain of personal ambition and shattered trust.